On today's hot sheet, I'm discussing NAR's home buyer and seller trends report, the job openings and labor turnover survey, and the ADP employment report. All that job data just released this morning, as well as mortgage application data for the past week. Today is Wednesday, April 2nd. No more April Fools. I don't know if you fell for that do not answer thing or not over on BAM, but you don't have to worry about it anymore today. I guess unless you see that post and forget about it all over again. Anyways, I'm Byron Lazine, and your hot sheet starts now. Okay, live from Connecticut here in this second day of the second quarter, a quarter which is bringing us much hope, very much better quarter two vibes than last year. Don't let Liberation Day here today kill your good vibes. The tailwind being created in this market by a 10-year, which is cooperating over the last 30 days, by a 30-year fix, which is trending down, not up. That's a good thing. We're not up over 7. All right, we got a bunch of home buyer and seller trends. We're going to get into that. All this job data that we've got here today, and our mortgage applications backing up what I just said. Is there forward moving momentum? Are we getting into the peak of the peak selling season? Are we getting into the good stuff? The center of the creme brulee? Are we entering the zone here? We'll see if mortgage applications back that up. If you want to back up your business with a community that has your back, makes this business fun, jump into BAMX. You can do that by going to school.com/BAMX. You get access to all of our classrooms, 30 plus on-demand courses. All of our weekly content drops new and fresh for you every single Friday. Emails, video scripts, blogs, as well as social media templates, as well as our hot sheet slides from every single show and our hot sheet show notes. We're going to go through all of this data today. You can get access to it each and every single day by going over to school.com/BAMX. You also get with that a cash offer platform. It's a $2,400 value in it of itself. The platform's included in your BAMX membership, which you can get for less than a couple bucks a day when you buy the annual. And that cash offer platform through Zoodealio helps you generate 4 offers on every single listing, helps you get more listings. Take advantage of that right now. All right, let's get into NAR just dropped. This is one of the things that NAR does a really good job. I don't know what the 61 job position reduction, the deleting of all those jobs over at NAR, if they're going to continue to put out this much data. I like a lot of the data that NAR puts out. I don't like the $50 million media spend. You can find more of my thoughts on that on yesterday's Real Word podcast. I would do a lot of deleting and a lot of doging if I was Nikea, right? I applaud her for deleting 41 employees and 20 job openings. Nothing against the 41 employees. I'm sure they're great people. They'll probably rebound. They probably had a nice severance, all of that. Sorry I used the word deleting like they are an Excel spreadsheet, but it just is what it is. This is business. Don't get your feelings hurt about it. Go get another job. I like the fact that CEO Nikea Wright is getting down there and trying to doge up the NAR. It needs a lot of it. But this report that they come out with each and every single year, it's robust. It's what's the PDF? 100 plus pages. I haven't been able. It just got released. It's the 2025 home buyer and seller generational report. So we'll have some ongoing data that we're going to pull out of this report. There's a bunch here. Okay, I want to make sure that we spend some time on it. We'll touch on a little bit of it here today, and then we'll have probably some more tomorrow and the coming days. We'll refer back to it as we do throughout the year. It's pretty robust. So we've taken out some of the key highlights. All right, let's start with just taking a look at generations. All right. Generationally, Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, and boomers. What is each generation's reactions to the markets? What are the trends? How are these market conditions impacting them? All right. Gen Z, for example, right now, buyers and sellers, that's aged 18 to 25. So not the Gen Zs that are not, 18 yet. They made up just 3% of buyers and 2% of sellers. Okay. So listen, I hear a lot of people say, more and more agents saying they're having a lot of success, generating leads on TikTok. Okay. I guess depending on where you live, that might be impactful. I'm not saying you shouldn't be on TikTok. I just logged on yesterday, Haley, for the first time in over a year. I'm no longer afraid of the Chinese warfare. I've been letting Haley log into my TikTok for the last year. I logged in. I did it. I took the risk, and I'm still sitting here today. I'm fine. Nothing happened to me. I didn't get sucked into the vortex by going on to TikTok, but I just haven't been using it. I find it's good to grow other social channels, or that's what I found in the past. Probably shouldn't abandon it. I noticed had some followers on there. So, but I hear a lot of people, I've got a TikTok strategy, and that might work for some. But listen, Gen Z, that's who's consuming a lot of TikTok. They make up 3% of buyers, 2% of sellers. I got nothing wrong with a long-term strategy. A lot of the Gen Z consumers of TikTok are going to be, they're going to be home buyers and sellers in 10 years. I don't mind a long-term strategy. I don't mind going on a listing appointment this afternoon if the person's not going to sell for 2 years. It's a relationship business. Conversations equal conversions. Jack up the conversations, get the relationships going, build the pipeline. Bigger, not smaller. Pipelines aren't made for stealth. Maybe some good teams are made for stealth operations, not a pipeline. Pipeline should be robust. Should be able to categorize it for sure. But more conversations, not less. So what Gen Z is doing is they're entering home ownership with the lowest household incomes. Okay. So out of all the generations, they've got low household. Did you see that, Haley? What in the world? I spit on my microphone. You're not going to see that on cable TV. That's just YouTube stuff there. Don't ever. I had to address it because you're over there laughing. So they're out of all the generations, they're entering lowest household income. They're 18 to 25. Makes sense. They're unlikely to be married when they enter household. And they're yet to have children, most likely under the age of 18. And younger millennials, Gen Zers, purchase older homes than other buyers. Okay. Fixer-uppers, starter homes, something that they can, afford. And you're not going to find, by the way, you're going to see in like the Northeast, it's really hard for Gen Z or millennials to buy with the prices and the inventory issues. So like the only option is like pretty old and pretty much fixer upper. Jumping into school here, I'll just pull one of the first slides that we made available. Here's the share, 2 to 3% for Gen Z. Let's get into the other categories now. Millennials, 12% of buyers are millennials, 5% of sellers. That's younger millennials. Sorry, older millennials, 17% for the buy side, 14% for sellers. So 20%, nearly 19 of all millennials are sellers. 1 out of 5 sellers are a millennial, whether you're an elder millennial like myself or a younger millennial. I like that they break up the two categories. I hear some of the younger millennials say that they actually grew up without a cell phone. And I'm like, yeah, not really. No, you didn't. I mean, the older millennials, we did grow up without a cell phone. They didn't come out till we're certainly out of high school. But older millennial, younger millennial is kind of two different worlds. Like I had a house phone with the long cord in my bedroom, so I could walk around the 10 by 10 bedroom that I had. But older millennials, younger millennials are a little bit different. They break up those different categories, just like they break up the boomers. Millennials as a generation is now got more people, alive than boomers. Okay. So millennials have surpassed boomers by population right now. Those are the two biggest generations. It's boomers, it's millennials. And you've got those two broken up into older and younger as two different categories. All right. Gen X is making up 22% of sellers, 24% of buyers. And then boomers, majority of the two categories. You've got younger boomers making up 31% of sellers. That's your biggest seller category. 26% of buyers, and then 22% of older boomers are buyers. So 50% of sellers are boomers. And then buyers on boomers is 16 plus 26. That's about 42 on the quick math. Silent generation 5 and 4, silent and Gen Z, are the two generations doing the least amount of buyer and seller activity, according to this NAR report. So, boomers, they also say in this report, boomers are most likely to stay in their house 20 years. There's been a lot of boomer deals over the last 4 or 5 years. You start to wonder, are they all buying up their final stop? Maybe. I think some of those younger boomers, I look at my parents as they're baby boomers. I don't know if they'd be younger or older. I'll just go with younger to make them feel good. My parents as boomers, they're not on their last stop. They buy and sell kind of a lot, I guess, for the average. They're not a 12-year homeowner, 10-year, person, couple. They do 4 or 5 years. They like to play that, buy something 4 or 5 years, get past the 2-year cap gain thing, and then sell it. They're not on their final place, but there's a lot of boomers in the last 4 or 5 years, maybe that you've worked with, that are like, I'm in my forever home here. Some of your clients, I see Kim says she's not moving. She's given us the Leonardo line from The Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not leaving. Put Kim's comment up there. Kim says, I'm a boomer and I'm not moving. Now, boomers say in this report, a lot of them will stay 20 years. They're the most likely generation to stay 20 years. So we got low inventory. That's going to hold up a lot of this inventory. I see on X a lot. What's going to happen when all the boomer homes, when boomers leave and they got to leave their house? What's going to happen with all this real estate? It's going to go to the kids. Okay. And then what's going to happen with that? Well, some of the kids will keep it, the ones that can afford it, and send a whole bunch of them, a whole heck of a lot of them will sell them, right? I mean, that's obviously what's going to happen. Well, who's going to buy them? Well, guess what? Millennials are just as big of a generation right now as boomers are. So you got a whole bunch of people that'd be happy to purchase a lot of those homes. I'm not really worried with a lot of that theory. I think localized, you could get into, Florida, but listen, there's going to be a whole nother crop of people that want to retire in Florida, as there always is. Okay. We see those trends over and over again. Focusing here on the baby boomers. Are they holding back this market, for example? Are they holding it back by kind of holding on to a lot of this real estate? They make up the primary group of the sellers, so you can argue with that data point that they don't. Now why are they buying homes still? Okay, they want to be closer to friends. They want to be closer to family. If they retire, they want to live where they want to live, and they want smaller homes. So they still desire, having the functionality of, of the right floor plan, of what meets their needs today, but they want to be close to the people they care about. Younger boomer, now younger boomers, they want to purchase in a small town. Older boomers more likely to purchase in a suburb or subdivision. Interesting there. I definitely think the younger boomers who are still enjoying martinis and, really living life to the fullest, Yeah, small town makes sense. Like thinking walkable towns, all of that. The younger boomers is out of the two categories. They expect to be in their home at 20 years. Okay, so does that hold up the market? If that trend is right, where younger boomers are just going to keep these homes, they're not going to be trading in and out of the market. They've, over the last 4 or 5 years, they've identified the next 20-year home. That could be an indication that like transactions aren't going to have that big of a bump over the next few years. I mean, they're keeping it for 20 years. I mean, that swells up that average homeowner tenure. Here's the number here. Younger boomers expect to be in their homes for the longest period of time, 20 years. Okay. Younger and older boomers purchased homes that were typically built in 99. There you go, Prince. R.I.P. Prince. Buyers 60 and older typically moved the furthest distance at a median of 35 miles. Okay. So boomers, not afraid to leave they're getting towards the end, leave the comfortability of where they grew up. Median distance, 35 miles, not that big of a distance. But remember, over 80% of people never leave within 100 miles of where they grew up. They never do it. They never do it. They never had that wonder what it would like to be living in another state than the one I grew up with. Nothing wrong with that. It's just surprising that many people will never do that. Boomers take the biggest risk on distance. They typically move the furthest distance, 60 and over, out of all of the generations. Okay. We're going to, like I said, we're going to pull a lot out of this. I'm just kind of giving you the appetizer here on what's going on with this NAR report. It's 100+ page report. That's the appetizer. That's what some of these generations are thinking about. I didn't touch, I guess, a lot here on millennials. So let me just go into a little bit of the millennials. 71% of younger first-time home buyers, 36% of older millennials, first-time home buyers. A lot of millennials still yet to buy their first home. So there's still a lot. There's Haley, look up how many millennials there are. I think there's 70 something million. There's 70 something million boomers in the low 70s. And I think
72.7 million
on millennials.
Yeah.
And I think boomers are 71. I think millennials have actually just passed boomers.
Oh, and that was in 2023. There's no.
Yeah. Well, that might be
probably a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, you're on Google. Go to GPT or something. Step your game up, Haley. You're a Gen Zer. You should know this. 66% of older millennials are married couples, while younger millennials had the highest share of unmarried couples, 13% buying homes. Younger millennials are the most educated group. I'd question that. Just because you have a degree doesn't mean you're an educated person. But that's how they're going to rank this. Younger millennials, the most educated group, with 78% holding at least a bachelor's degree or higher. Listen, I got a YouTube education. It's doing me just fine. What do you got, Haley?
ChatGPT said the same thing as in 2023.
GPT's probably sourcing Google. There you go. All right. There's your generational appetizer for the generational trends report. 100+ pages. We'll dig into more of that as the BAM team continues to go through it. We'll pick out what really stands out. Expect some articles on nowbam.com and expect, obviously, some more as we dig into it more and more. Expect some more information right here on the hot sheet. All right. Job openings. What's going on with jobs? Little changed so far on job openings. We got 7.6 million in February. U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported this morning. And this is the February 25 report. Over the month, hires and total separations held at 5.4 million and 5.3, respectively. Within separations and quits, 3.2 million. Layoffs and discharges, 1.8 million. All of that changed little. So well off of the 11 million plus peak of job openings. 7.6, healthy number. You want a job, you can go get a job. That's kind of how I look at that. 7.6 million. Pretty big number. A lot of opportunities to find work in this economy. Lots of opportunities. I mean, if somebody loses their job, Is that unfortunate? Absolutely. And like change is hard. Not impossible. It's uncomfortable. Okay. Growth is uncomfortable. Always and forever will be the case. But not impossible. A lot of things are changing very fast. We just talked about anybody that's got AI skill set right now can get a job. AI is not putting people out of jobs. It's putting people into jobs who get it, who understand it, taking the time. Don't need an AI degree. I don't think they exist. Need the AI capabilities, and you're invaluable. I mean, you're going to be able to get a job really anywhere. Okay, so job openings. This is what they look like. Or no, I'm sorry. Unemployment numbers. Let's move over to unemployed. Oh, this is unemployed persons per job opening. Sorry. So that's ticking up a little bit with unemployment ticking up, number of unemployed persons per job opening. But when you go back here 15 years, we're still near the 15-year low. It's ticked up a little bit. I mean, it's not even a full unemployed person per job opening. It's like a 0.9 person. Ever see a 0.9 person, Haley? According to Bureau of Labor Statistics, they're out there. All right, let's move over to the employment report. Okay, March came in at 155,000 jobs. According to this is the ADP report. Private employers added 155,000 jobs in March. This is just private, so we're not talking government. Don't expect the government to be a big hire of employees in March 2025 like they were in March 2024. I think that those numbers are going to be dramatically different. So private numbers are probably really important to be looking at when it comes to employment. Haley, you've had a lot of laughter over there. What's good? What?
I was laughing at Jason's comment.
All right. What did Jason say? 0.9 person wrestling is fun. Yeah, maybe. Listen, if they're in that power slap competition, they're probably a 0.9 person walking away from that. You get smacked in the face enough times, you're not going to feel like a full person. That stuff is absolutely psychotic. It's disgusting to watch. I don't know. People love it, but I guess I shouldn't say that. Some people that love it, good for them. All right. Manufacturing delivered stronger than average job gains for the second straight month. Hiring slowed in construction. That is something we'll be watching for. It's something that I know Logan over at Housing Wire will be watching. He always watches it. Does construction hire, is it slowing? I mean, it wasn't doing bad. Does it start going down? Definitely something to watch for. Natural resources and trade, transportation, utilities, lost jobs. But this is what Neela Richardson, chief economist over at ADP, says. Despite policy uncertainty and downbeat consumers, a lot of consumer reports been down, not lying. The bottom line is this. Ooh, a little stone cold Steve Austin for us, Neela. Give it to us. The March top line number was good for good one for the economy and employers of all sizes. So small businesses, big businesses, corporate, if not necessarily all sectors. So saying, hey, job employment good in March, move along. That's your data there for March. Look at private employment. I mean, this is continuing to move up. Employment numbers are strong. We're not seeing many cracks here. And that's going to mean that the Fed is going to be a little bit sheepish when it comes to any cuts. They're really looking for the labor market to help them out. The tariff, today being Tariff Day, Liberation Day, whatever you want to call it, that might help them out because of that uncertainty a little bit. We're seeing that with the 10-year for sure. So it's naturally lowering the 30-year fixed. They're not getting any help from jobs just yet. Job market continuing to be strong. And let's move into mortgage applications. All right. Mortgage application data from Mortgage Banker Association, MBA, released today for the week ending March 28th. We've seen positive reads here this year, more positive reads than we've seen last year, week over week, all of last year, and we're only into April. We've seen positive reads year over year. This is one of the reasons on Friday when we had Logan Motoshami on, he talked about he hasn't called peak sales yet. He hasn't called for when peak sales will be yet in the spring market. He's done it the last couple of years already at this point. He's done it in March. Hasn't done it yet. There's good forward data in the mortgage application. See if that continues here. The seasonally adjusted purchase index increased 2% from 1 week earlier. Another positive week over week reading here on purchase data. That's with a week last week where we actually saw mortgage applications, or I'm sorry, 30-year fixed mortgages tick up from the low 6.7s to 6.8. We're back down this week. We'll take a look at that in a second. And then when we go week over year over year for the same week, 9% higher. So you're seeing an uptick in momentum right now, albeit off of, we get it. We're coming off of lows, really, really low lows on mortgage purchase application. You got to go back to, touching this level in 15 and 12 recovery or 95. This is, those are the only time frames we got this low in mortgage application, but we're moving up. We're seeing that it looks a little blotchy there, but we're seeing it move up here week over week, year over year on mortgage applications. And that's good news for the future of 2025. It doesn't mean things are going to just go and open up like crazy and go gangbusters. It means it's moving in the right direction. It's a slow process here to get back to a normalized market, but you have more of a tailwind right now. Okay. You're getting into what I would consider here probably the turn of the definitely, I'd say past the turn on the spring market. And you're like, wow, I'm getting into the middle of my round, the back nine. That's going to be a local conversation for you. You're right in the middle of the round, and all of a sudden the wind, it's a slight breeze. It's not a island breeze. It's a slight breeze, and it's at my back for the rest of the holes. So that's a good news. That's what it looks like right now. One of the reasons is all the uncertainty that people on X want to say the world is crashing because of, or people that are taking a political side on administrative decisions and just want to have something to complain about, all the uncertainty by tariffs, all this stuff. Well, guess what? It's actually created an environment for the 10-year that is the best in the last 90 days. And if we go back more, it's the best in the last 4 months. It's the best since December, the first week of December. Boy, that feels like a long time ago. Okay, we're sitting at 4.14. It's continuing here today to move in the right direction. Yesterday, we got to move to the downside on the 30-year fixed mortgage. That's not an April Fool's joke. It's a reality, 6.71. That's the lowest in the last 6 readings. So last week, we got that mortgage application bump up week over week and year over year, and we moved up. We moved up into the 6.8 range. Now we're at 6.7. We could be in the 6.6s again, which is where we've been on the weekly the last 3. We could be there on the daily read as early as today. So moving in the right direction on the 30-year fixed. All right. If there's one direction you should move here in the next 21 days, and that's over to the BAM Fest sign-up page. We have a free virtual event for all, not just BAMX members. Everybody's invited. It's free. It's Wednesday, April 23rd. It's noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. If you've been to any of our virtual events, we do 4 a year. We already had BAM Pro Bowl. This is BAM Fest. We'll have BAM Barbecue in the summer, and we'll have the BAMmies again at the end of the year. BAM Fest this year has a mystery guest that is going to absolutely floor you. Been asked multiple times to be on a public-facing real estate stage. Said no. Doing this one, it's absolutely absurd that we got this guest. Okay. Not in real estate, somebody you want to pay attention to, though, for building a business. We've got Jimmy Burgess, Veronica Figueroa as well joining us over at BAMFest, April 23rd, noon Eastern. Go to nowbamfest.com to sign up. Nowbamfest.com to make sure that you sign up for that. Totally free and open now for registrations. The free and simple way to support everything we do at BAM, if you're enjoying this hot sheet, is click subscribe. If you hit the notification bell, you'll know when new episodes or new hot sheets, as well as new podcasts here on the channel, are uploaded. Yesterday we uploaded the Real Word Pod, and tomorrow, for example, we'll have the walkthrough pod. So free and simple way to support us is just by subscribing here to the channel. Hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow live at 9:30 on the East, 6:30 on the West. Until then, toodaloo.